2022 was meant to be the year of the big return to office, remember? And before that, 2021 was heralded in like, hear ye, all that wish to earn their sixpence shall henceforth officially do so, only from the confined confines of thine official office company compound, capiche? I wonder why it didn't catch on. But have you noticed there's no official proclamation of returning to offices this year? Not even a teeny tiny little fanfare. Nope. It seems that the working world has already divided into three camps. Some people are already all in on remote work. Some people already hate remote work so much you'd think it caused the global pandemic, and everybody else, well, they've learned to compromise. And that compromise comes in many shapes and sizes, but broadly it's what we call hybrid working. And new research from Stanford economist Nicholas Bloom unpacks what we learned about hybrid working in 2022. You're watching Out of Office, the weekly video series by remote workers for remote workers. Bloom's research got picked up by the Washington Post, who used this little chart to show just how lackluster that return to office fanfare has been over the past few years. Now, this research is showing 10 American cities, but from what I hear, it is pretty representative of what's happening worldwide, with close to 100% occupancy before the pandemic, close to zero during those COVID lockdowns, of course, but then a 2-year climb slower than a slug on sleeping pills, landing barely past the halfway point. And that means the vast majority of full-time workers around the world are entering 2023 under some version of a hybrid model. And the research goes to great lengths to point out how maddeningly difficult it is to come up with a single definition of what hybrid work actually is. And while the vast majority of companies do fall somewhere between 2 or 3 days in the office and the rest at home, there are a lot of nuances at different companies and around different industries, job functions, and one in particular is how frequently different roles interact with customers. Because increasingly, it's not just collaborating with our own internal teams that we do remotely. We're also using remote tools for all kinds of other things that used to happen in person as well, from sales calls and software demonstrations to working with advertising agencies and video editors like the ones I'm working with right now. All right, Chris, we get it, you're good. Anyway, the line I found most interesting in the article was this. In a hybrid workplace, the center of gravity isn't necessarily the office. It's technology and communication platforms and the norms that shape their use. And in a truly hybrid workplace, tasks are designed so that heads down work can happen at home, with the office reserved for tasks that require interaction. When I read that, I realized we've won. We won. We already won. The majority view finally accepts that the most productive working environment for most people doesn't look anything like a typical office. Row upon row of cubicles and a thermostat set at a temperature that makes Jeff take his shoes off. And Janet sits there shivering under a shawl while everyone tries to drown out the cubicle next door who are singing Happy Birthday off key again. Seriously, what is with all the birthdays over there? So, even though some people aren't quite ready to accept that the fully remote model is even better, at least nobody is deluded enough to say that 2023 is the year that everybody will return to the office. Actually, this week the New York Times published a piece indicating that not even a recession will bring an end to remote work. Now, they say the opposite is more likely because companies facing a squeeze are going to realize that flexible working options is a lever that they can pull to remain competitive even if they can't afford to dish out pay increases. And to that I say, let it be known by royal decree that the year of our Lord 2023 shall henceforth be known as the year that companies stopped making stupid return to office plans and leaned into the dawn of an information age that promises not only enlightenment, satisfaction, and productivity, but also victory. And maybe now we'll be able to get a job search engine that actually makes it possible to filter by hybrid policies. Too much? No, then we'd really be out of the dark ages. I'm Andrew Allen, and the future of work is out of office.